know, we did it all sing together, so I'm sure most of you know this. Ram Krishna Sharanam. Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharani. Prabhu Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharani. Prabhu Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam,
Where Lovey's coming. Follow her the mic.
Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharani. Prabhu Vipāhi Kevalam, Vipāhi Kevalam, Vipāhi Kevalam, Sharani. Prabhu Vipāhi Kevalam, Vipāhi Kevalam, Vipāhi Kevalam, Sharani. Prabhu Vipāhi Kevalam, Vipāhi Kevalam, Vipāhi Kevalam, Sharani. Prabhu Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharani. Prabhu Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharani. Sharanagatam, 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 Sharani. Prabhu Sharanagatam, 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 Sharani. Prabhu Sharanagatam, 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 Sharani. Prabhu Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharani. Prabhu Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharani. Namah Shri Gurave, 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 Namo Namah. Namah Shri Gurave, Namah Shri Gurave, Namah Shri Gurave, Namo Namah. Prabhu Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharani. Prabhu Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharani. Vipāhi Kevalam, Vipāhi Kevalam, Vipāhi Kevalam, Sharani. Vipāhi Kevalam, Vipāhi Kevalam, Vipāhi Kevalam, Sharani. Prabhu Vipāhi Kevalam, Vipāhi Kevalam, Vipāhi Kevalam, Sharani. Prabhu Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharani. Prabhu Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharani. Sharanagatam, 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 Sharani. Sharanagatam, 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 Sharani. Prabhu Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharani. Prabhu Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharani. Namah Shri Gurave, Namah Shri Gurave, Namah Shri Gurave, Namo Namah.
Gurave Namah, Shri Gurave Namah, Shri Gurave Namo Namah. Namah Shri Gurave Namah, Shri Gurave Namah, Shri Gurave Namo Namah. Prabhu Rama Krishna Sharanam.
Okay. You're good?
Prabhu Rama Krishna Sharanam. Rama Krishna Sharanam. Rama Krishna Sharanam. Prabhu Rama Krishna Sharanam. Rama Krishna Sharanam. Rama Krishna Sharanam. Sharanam.
Please sit. Oh, the microphone. Namaste and good morning, everybody. Namaste. For the brave souls who are back for more. All right. Oh, we're early. It's not yet 10. It's on. It's on. Yes. And there are lots of chairs on this side. And some in the middle also. There's some here. All right, it's 10. We'll chant Om for a minute. Let's do it at our own pace. You start and end at your own pace. So there's a continuous rolling Omkara going on in the hall. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness unto light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. We are going to chant the verses that we have done, and then we'll take it from there. Chapter 15, verse number 4. Natvam deho nate deho, natvam deho nate deho, bhukta karta nava bhavan, bhukta karta nava bhavan, chidruposi sada sakshi, chidruposi sada sakshi, nirapeksha sukham chara, nirapeksha sukham chara, ragadvesho manodharmo, ragadvesho manodharmo, namanaste kadachana, namanaste kadachana, nirvikalposi bodhatma, nirvikalposi bodhatma, nirvikara sukham chara, nirvikara sukham chara, sarvabhuteshu chatmanam, sarvabhuteshu chatmanam, sarvabhutani chatmani, sarvabhutani chatmani, vijñāya nirahankaro, vijñāya nirahankaro, nirmamastvam sukhi bhava, nirmamastvam sukhi bhava, vishvam spurati yatredam, vishvam spurati yatredam, taranga iva sagare, taranga iva sagare, tattvam eva na sandeha, tattvam eva na sandeha, chinmurte vijvaro bhava, chinmurte vijvaro bhava. And read out the translations. You are not your body. Your body is not yours. So saying your body is also a misnomer. You are not the doer. You are not the enjoyer or sufferer. You are pure awareness, the witness of all things. You are without expectation, free. Wherever you go, be happy. 5th verse. Desire and aversion are of the mind. The mind is never yours. You are free of its turmoil. You are awareness itself, never changing. Wherever you go, be happy. 6th verse. For see, the self is in all beings and all beings are in the self. Know that you are free, free of I, free of mine. Be happy. Number 7. In you the worlds arise like waves in the sea. It is true, you are awareness itself. So free yourself from the fever of the world. Beautiful, especially the last one, Vishwam Spurati Yatredam Taranga Iva Sagare. That in which the worlds, the universes arise and float and sink. That ocean you are. Like waves in the ocean, this universe arises in you. We have this feeling we are a tiny being in the vast universe. Ashtavakra is telling us, you are vastness itself. In fact, the word Brahman means vast. Brahman, Bringhanatvad, Brihatvad, Atma, Brahma iti giyate. This is Vachaspati Mishra in the Bhamati commentary on Shankaracharya's commentary on the Brahma Sutras. Because it is without limits, it expands without limits. It is called Brahman. Brahman means expansion without limit. And the Atman is Brahman. You are Brahman. Notice we went through 2 stages. I call this 2 steps to the not to. After all, our goal is non-duality, not separation. But for that, we have to go through a stage of separation. Separation from, nobody considers themselves to be the world. I don't think I'm the table or the chair or the shirt. So we are separate from the world. That's very clear to us. But we say we are this body. So the analysis must start here. In order to establish oneness, you cannot establish oneness on the basis of the body. Clearly, on the basis of the body, there are so many bodies and they're all different from each other. You can't have oneness there. You cannot have oneness on the basis of the mind either. Minds are also different. Persons are different. Personalities are different. And that's good. When there's an underlying oneness, then all this diversity is, it's richness. It's wonderful. It's good to have so much diversity. Beyond the mind, Advaita Vedanta finds something on the basis of which oneness can be established. Beyond the body and beyond the mind. And that's what we did. You are not the body is not yours, you are consciousness itself. You're not the mind is not yours, you are consciousness itself. From that consciousness itself, when we look back upon the mind and the body and this world, the question has to be asked, what is the relationship between you, the consciousness, and this universe? Are you separate? Swami, didn't you just say we are separate? Yes, you are separate from the universe, from the body, from the mind. You are consciousness, the witness of all things. But what you are witnessing, what we are experiencing, are those things separate from us? This is the big question. This is a subtle question. Whatever you see in your dreams, you are separate from that because you exist now. You woke up from your dreams and they are gone. You exist. So you are not fixed to those things. You are not attached to those things, whatever was experienced in the dreams. But are they separate from you? Or were they only a projection of your dreaming mind? Let's say they were a projection of our dreaming mind. The water is separate from the waves. In what sense? Before there were waves, it was water. And after the waves settle down, it's water. When the waves are there, you're not very confident. It's water. You can test. You can check, it's water. So the way the water is separate from the waves, it means in the sense that it's independent of the waves. Water need not be waves. It can be water in the glass. It can be in the bottle. It can be water vapor in the clouds. But the waves are not independent of the water. They cannot exist without the water. They are basically, in Vedantic terms, name, form, and activity superimposed on water. The clay is independent of pots. Clay needn't be a pot. But the clay pots are not independent of clay. The gold is independent of golden necklaces and bracelets and rings and all sorts of golden ornaments. But none of the golden ornaments are independent of the gold because they cannot exist without the gold. They are basically the gold itself with names and forms and particular uses. So this is what Advaita wants to say. That yes, first step back from the world, from the body, from the mind, and discover yourself as the witness consciousness, the pure subject, not an object. Then look back upon the objects, the subtle objects of the mind, thoughts, feelings, emotions, ideas, then the more physical objects of the body, and then the external universe. You will discover that they are not separate from you, the witness consciousness. This is a radical idea because our common sense is based upon a realistic metaphysics. Realistic metaphysics means the world exists. I give you the example of Bill Conrad yesterday. You said, this room exists, Swami, and then you come and see it. So the world exists apart from consciousness. It exists apart from you, the individual. Advaita doesn't doubt. But from the one underlying consciousness to which it appears, does it exist apart from that? That's the question. If you say that the world exists apart from consciousness, you run up against two big problems. A Tibetan Lama pointed this out. Two huge problems. two big problems are the problem of subjective idealism and the problem of the hard problem of consciousness. Problem of subjective idealism is that you have to prove. See, anything we talk about the world, we talk about it in our consciousness. That nobody can doubt. Even the grossest materialist will not doubt. Ultimately, you are a conscious being and you're talking about a material world. Only the materialist says that the world exists apart from consciousness. But you're talking about it, knowing it in consciousness, nobody doubts, and that's a fact. So, the world which is experienced in consciousness exists apart from consciousness. You have to prove this. I think it's Kant who called it the standing scandal of philosophy, that we haven't yet found a solid refutation of idealism, that the world exists only in consciousness. So that's the first problem. You have to prove that there is a material world apart from your experience, because your experience, the material world only exists for you in your experience. There's no other way. You can't jump out of your own skin. The second problem is, once you prove that, suppose you can prove that the material world exists apart from consciousness, then your second problem will be, how does that material world generate your consciousness? That's the hard problem of consciousness. Anyway, what I want to say is that we, in the fourth and the fifth verse, we did that separation. Not body, not mind, I'm consciousness. Shankaracharya, when he sings in Nirvana Shatakam, now we can understand. Mano buddhyahankara chittani naham. I'm not the mind, not the intellect, not the memory, not the ego. Very interesting. I am not the ego. If you literally translate in English, I am not I. I, the consciousness, am the witness of the ego, but I am not literally the ego. The ego is also a thought. It's a functioning of the mind. Mano buddhyahankara chittani naham. Nacha shrotra jivve, nacha ghrana netre. I am not the senses also, or the functioning of the senses. Nacha vyoma bhumi, natejo navayu. I am not the five elements out of which the universe is made. You know, the ancient cosmology, the universe is made of 5 elements. Then what am I? Chidananda rupaha shivoham shivoham. I am Shiva. I am of the nature of Shiva. What is Shiva? Is that blue guy sitting on top of a mountain with a fancy hairdo, which is always wet because Ganga is pouring through the hair, and with snakes. And so, I mean, I can tell you, at least in Manhattan, he would be regarded as cool. No, Shankaracharya is very clear here. By Shiva, he means consciousness, Chidananda, consciousness, bliss consciousness. That I am. So we realize, we separate and we realize who we are. But then it's time to synthesize, integrate, pull it back all in again. So the next 2 verses, the 6th verse and the 7th verse, what do they tell you? Well, first of all, it's not an individual consciousness. When you go back to consciousness, you suddenly see at the background of all beings is this one consciousness. If I am the witness consciousness of the mind, body and all of that, then everyone else is also witness consciousness. It must be there. Just when I regard myself as a body, I will regard you all as bodies. When I regard myself as a person, I automatically regard all of you as persons. See, that's our common default setting. As a grown-up, educated, sensitive individual, we think of ourselves as persons and then we relate to everybody else as a person. But when you begin to understand yourself as pure consciousness, automatically, without any effort, you will also regard others as pure consciousness. And what this verse, the 6th verse, points out is, if you regard others as pure consciousness, very soon you will come to this understanding, as pure consciousness, there's no difference between me and the other one, between you and anybody else. Just as the wave came to regard itself as water, and realized as water, there's limitless water. There is no division between this wave and that wave as water. Then the 7th verse said, but what about bodies, minds, the non-living things, tables and chairs, quarks, quasars and quarks? What about them? They are arising and disappearing in this ocean of consciousness. So ultimately, this consciousness is the one reality which appears as body and mind and persons, and also all sorts of quote unquote living things in this world, there is a unity of consciousness everywhere. There's oneness everywhere. This oneness is Advaita. Advaita is not separation. But to establish this oneness, you must first step back from body-mind into your real nature, answer the question, who am I? And from that perspective, you can establish oneness. It's not inevitable. There are philosophers who stop short of that. So, Sankhya, it stops short of that. It is satisfied with the dualism, consciousness and matter. Yoga, by yoga I mean Patanjali Yoga, the philosophy. They are also dualists, consciousness and matter, spirit and matter dualism. Advaita doesn't stop there, goes forward and says it is one consciousness, but it appears to itself as its own object. Let me put it this way. I have been using the term consciousness all throughout yesterday. The technically correct term is Sat-Chit-Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. Isness, awareness and bliss. And these are not three separate aspects. It's the same thing, which is existence. It's the same thing, which shines forth as consciousness. It's the same thing, which is also bliss. It struck me only a few months ago that the three fundamental questions of philosophy. Philosophy has three branches. One branch is called ontology. Ontology. It's a fancy name for the study of what is real. It asks the question, what is real? It used to be called metaphysics earlier. Nowadays it's called ontology. Ontos means being or reality. So what's real? Is matter real? Is consciousness real? Is God real? Is the world real? What's the reality? That's the question in ontology. Second, epistemology. That's the second branch of philosophy. It asks the question, how do you know anything? See, when you are investigating what's real, one must also justify, how do you know? I say that God is real. You will ask me, how do you know? I might answer that my holy book tells me so, or I had a vision, or something like that. You may or may not accept those justifications. That's epistemology, the study of how do we know anything. And the third one is, what's the point of it all? What's beautiful? What is good? What is bad? There were a bunch of subjects which dealt with it. What is good and what is bad, right and wrong? Ethics is a subject. What is beautiful? What is worthwhile? Aesthetics, it dealt with beauty. Art, there was a whole philosophy of art. All of them have now been clubbed together rather uneasily into one branch called axiology. 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 So you have three branches: ontology, epistemology, and axiology. What is real? How do you know anything? And what's beautiful, what's right and wrong? I mean, what's the point of it all? Meaning, purpose, beauty, ethics, all of it. And now you can see where I'm going. Some of you might have seen Sat-Chit-Ananda. These are the Advaita's answers to these three questions. What is real? Sat, being itself, existence itself is reality. What is, these are very broad answers. How do you know anything? Chit, consciousness. It's because of consciousness all knowledge is possible. What is the point of it all? Axiology, art, morality, all of it points back to Ananda, bliss. So Sat-Chit-Ananda, I can pat myself on my back, I made the connection, but it's a pretty straightforward connection. If you ponder the questions of philosophy, you see the Advaitic conception of Brahman as the ultimate reality, as existence, consciousness, bliss, is an answer to these questions. Let me put it in terms I heard from a traditional monk who said this in Hindi, but I'll translate. So, Sat-Chit-Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. How beautifully this monk put it. He said, Sat-Chit-Ananda is first or primary. Pratham in Hindi, first or primary. I'll explain. And it is universal. Sat-Chit-Ananda is universal. It's not individual, vyakti nahi hai. And third, it is oneness, eka. So first or primary, universal, and oneness. What does it mean? First or primary, Sat-Chit-Ananda. First is your existence. I am, that is primary. And based on this, the existence of the universe, existence of God, whatever else, it all comes after I exist. It's primary for you from your perspective. Chit, consciousness. First of all, I am aware, then I am aware of other things. It is to me the awareness that everything else appears, including God. If one day I have the vision of God, it's possible only because I am aware. Otherwise, no, nothing. So consciousness is primary. Existence is primary, consciousness is primary. Bliss, it is ultimately my joy. It sounds awfully selfish, but selfish with a capital S. It's ultimately everything matters to me because it gives joy to me. Atman is the locus of all joy, the ground of all joy. So Sat-Chit-Ananda, first or primary. Second, it is universal. I am, and all of these existences, table exists, chair exists, solar system and galaxy exists, and quarks and protons and atoms exist, other beings, you all exist. The existence derives from Sat. So it is universal. It's not my own existence. This existence is the existence of all things. The same existence, just like the wave found it was water and then realized my existence as a wave depends on me as water. But then me as water, all waves are dependent on me as water. All the waves depend for existence on water. So it's not individual existence, it's the existence of all beings. We are in an ocean of existence. Second, Chit, our consciousness. It is the basis of all conscious experience. Everywhere, everybody is having a conscious experience. It's because of that one consciousness. So it's the ground of all conscious experience. It is universal. It's not my individual consciousness. My individuality depends on consciousness. It does not generate that consciousness. Third, Ananda. All meaningful activities, all purpose in life, all joy, all aesthetic experience, everything that we see as a goal, worthwhile, it all depends on Ananda. It is universal. Third, it is oneness. Sat-Chit-Ananda is oneness. In Hindi, he said, I'll translate, Jahan aadhar aur aadheya ek hai, jahan drashta aur drishya ek hai, jahan tum aur tumhare pyare ek ho. So it is aadhar and adheya. When I said it is existence, and then on that you superimpose name and form and activity. So it is water. On that you superimpose different forms of waves and sizes of waves, but it's basically water. But what he's saying is the ground and what is superimposed on it, the reality and the name and the form, they are one. What does it mean? I say this is wood. And we are now superimposed a name and a form and an activity. The form is this table. This is the form. And the name is called a table. And the activities, I can put stuff on it. But the name and the form and the activity, they all depend upon the wood. They are nothing other than the wood. Can I show you two different things? One is a table and the other is the wood. No, I cannot. I can show you the wood as a log of wood or something else. But I can't show you the table apart from the wood. The table is nothing other than the wood. It is one with the wood. Similarly, this universe is one with existence itself. It's Sat. This is the meaning of Aadhar or Adheya Ek. In English, the ground and the superimposed entity are one. That's why you see why Sanskrit is so powerful. You can use simple terms to explain which you'll need a paragraph. Then the next one is very, very evocative for us. Drashta or drishya ek hai. The seer and the seen are one. What did we do all day yesterday? Separate the seer and the seen. And now it is saying the seer and the seen are one. In what sense? Notice that in our dreams, whatever we saw, we are apart from that, no doubt. But what we saw are not apart from us because they don't exist apart from you. You, the dreaming mind, you dreamt up the entire dream universe. Every entity in the dream universe is nothing other than your dreaming mind. So the seer and the seen are one. Then the question would be, why did you spend so much effort in separating? Drig, Drishya, Vivek, a whole book is there. Because unless you separate and realize yourself as the witness consciousness, as the real seer, you will never establish the oneness of the seer and the seen. As a body, you cannot establish your oneness with the universe, nor as a person. Beyond the body-mind, there's an impersonal consciousness. There it is one. And finally, he said in Hindi, Tum aur tumhare pyare ek ho. You and your object of delight. It could be another person, it could be your dog or cat, it could be, your possessions, your house, your whatever gives you joy. You and that which gives you joy, you are one. You think it's different from you, and therefore you chase it. Vivekananda says in one place, he says, things are dead in themselves. That means they have no reality of their own in themselves. Things are dead in themselves. We breathe life into them. Then either we run after them or we run away from them. This is samsara. Right. I put it so beautifully. So you and your beloved are one. Tum aur tumhare pyare ek ho. But also applies, cuts the other way. That what terrifies you, what you hate, what you dislike, that's also one with you. You are that also. It is time to tell the story of the princes of Kashi, I think. Yes. You and your beloved are one. So the story goes, some of you know, many of you know, but some of you don't know, so I'll tell you the story anyway. So there was, in ancient times, there was a kingdom, and in the kingdom and the court, in a royal court, there was a play was staged one day, and in the play, one of the characters was the princess of Kashi or Benares. Now, who is going to play the princess of Kashi? And princess of Kashi was supposed to be a little princess, 5 years old, and the queen said, the prince of that kingdom, my son, is a little kid, 5 years old, you can dress him up as a princess, and he can play that role. And so he was dressed up as a princess, and he played that role. And because people found it so cute, the queen mother said, you can draw a paint. No mobile phones in those days. It's a matter of a second today. But in those days, you have to sit still, and a court painter will make a painting of you. So they made a painting. So paint him dressed as the princess of Kashi. So they painted him. And that painting titled The Princess of Kashi. And they gave a date and everything and signed it. Anyway, years passed. 15 years later, the prince was quite grown up and doing princely stuff. One day, wandering around the palace, he went to the basement and seeing old stuff there, junk. And then he saw this old painting and he wiped the dust of it. And he saw this princess of Kashi. He saw the date. Oh, she must be my age. 15 years ago. It was painted, so she looks like my age, and he fell in love with her. He was shy; he couldn't tell anybody, but he moped, and the king and the queen couldn't find out what was wrong with the prince. Finally, a wise old minister came and approached him and said, "Prince, what ails you? Tell me. You can confide in me." And the prince shyly said, "Well, I'm in love." "Oh, that's good. Who's she? Who's the lucky girl?" "Oh, she is a princess." "A princess, even better. Good. Where, princess of what? Where?" "Princess of Kashi." "Princess of Kashi, I see. Where did you meet her?" "I haven't met her, but I have seen her picture." Then the minister, something he remembered. "A painting of the Princess of Kashi. Where did you see this painting?" "It's downstairs in our basement. Can you show me?" So they went downstairs. "This is the Princess of Kashi, and I must tell you, I'm in love with her. I will not marry anybody else. I'll marry only this Princess of Kashi." Then the minister looked at it and he remembered. And he told the prince, "Prince, you sit down. First sit down." And told him the whole story of the play and how he was dressed. He said, he was dressed as the Princess of Kashi, how the painting was made. And he told the prince, "Prince, that Princess of Kashi, Tat Tvamasi, that thou art. You are that." Now, what happened to the desire of the prince of Kashi for the princess of Kashi, for the prince for the princess of Kashi? The desire disappeared. But why did it disappear? Not because he had found the princess of Kashi and married her, not because She was already married off, or she was dead, or something like that. No, no, no. He realized there is no princess of Kashi apart from him. You want to come and sit? There's a chair here. You want to come and sit here? There's a chair here. Okay. So there was no princess of Kashi apart from him. You and your beloved are one reality. Whatever you like, living, non-living, whatever attracts you, an activity, a person, a place, a thing, you are that. You, the consciousness, are appearing as that what is tremendously attractive to you. All right. So, Sat-Chit-Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss, is first or primary, is universal, and is one. It's oneness. This oneness, this is Advaita, non-duality. Now, okay, what we'll do now is, I'm going to talk about how this universe is nothing other than pure consciousness. It sounds a little odd. I mean, it's a little too much to swallow. That's why it's sort of heavy lifting. You know? Advaita is full of what Swami Ranganathanji used to call bombshells, Vedantic bombshells. Starts off with, you're not the body, not even the mind. That's a huge, big thing to understand. And it says it's not something to be believed. You can demonstrate it and show it to your satisfaction right here. And then it goes on to say, the mind and the body and the entire universe are nothing but you. So each of these steps is enormous. So now we are at that stage where the whole universe is nothing but pure consciousness, which you are. How do I understand this? Can it be shown to me that I am this entire universe? This universe is nothing but I, the consciousness. So it can be shown in different ways. So I'm going to go through the logic of this, take us through this, a sevenfold reduction of the universe into consciousness in 7 steps. Someone rolling their eyes, oh God, 7 steps. Don't worry, I'll be fast. I'll give you the TED Talk version of it in 15 minutes, maximum 20 minutes. I actually gave a TED Talk twice, but one of them was online, so I guess it doesn't count. But one was the real one on stage. It's the hardest thing that I've done, because there you are under tremendous time pressure. If you have seen a TED Talk, you will see that the person is standing there, and there are clocks, electronic clocks. There are big screens. There are 3 screens, at least the version in which I gave the talk. 3 screens, big screens on the ground. One of them, so the thing was, we have to stop at 18 minutes. So one of them is counting up from 0.00000, counting in hundredths of a second, up to 18 minutes. The other clock is counting down from 18 to 0 in hundredths of a second. And the center screen is showing how you look to the audience, because the whole idea is that it's meant for the internet crowd. There's an audience there, but it's meant for the internet crowd. And the rules, it looks very relaxed. It isn't. It's very well planned, well prepared, and staged. So there are a lot of rules there. They'll give you a whole packet. It's interesting. I mean, what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do. Tell your own story, but don't talk about yourself too much. There's the rules like that. Move around naturally, but they will draw a Lakshman Rekha around you, a circle around you. Move around naturally. Don't stand in one spot, but don't overstep that limit, because the cameras are focused there and lighting is focused there, so you can't wander off into the darkness. And there are strong lights on you. I'm not used to that. I need to see my audience. So there I could hardly see. It was all dark there. Strong lights on you. And then the time. So I remember I was looking at the time, and the last sentence I started, that was at 17 minutes 43 seconds. So I realized this has to be the last sentence. After this I can't have another sentence, because I will go over the 18-minute mark. So I'll do that now. In 18 minutes or so, I'm going to make the universe disappear. So this I got from the present Shankaracharya of Puri, Nishchalananda Saraswati ji. He didn't say it the way I'm going to say it in 18 minutes or whatever. He just said it in one sentence. And so that has to be broken down. In 7 stages, he starts with the world and ends up with pure consciousness, but in 7 stages. So here goes. First, you take the world as it is, as we experience it, this entire universe. Planets and stars, living beings, the vast and the tiny and whatever, and our own bodies, our minds, all of that. So Jagat, stage 1 is Jagat. I'll give you the Sanskrit terms which he used, Jagat. But then he says that this Jagat, this world which we inhabit, is nothing but the play of 5 elements. You know, the ancient cosmology. Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi. Space and air and fire and water and earth. The ancient cosmology, many civilizations shared it. Basically, in modern people might say, I'm not going to talk about the primitive stuff, I'll just say the several elements found on the periodic table. So the whole universe is made of matter, basically. The word that he used was Pancha Bhuta Vilasa, the play of 5 elements. So whatever you see here, human beings, basically meaning the bodies, animals, mountains and rivers and stars and planets and tiny things like atoms and molecules, they are all these they're basically matter and energy, all of it. Panchabhuta, 5 elements. Then, in fact, the word prapancha, that's a word in Sanskrit for the universe, prapancha. Prakrishtena pancha, that means the 5 elements combined in various ways makes up this universe. It's all earth, water, air, fire, space, and all. Basically, that's the cosmology. This is not very difficult to understand. Basically, what he's saying is this universe is matter and energy, and time and space in modern terms. Then these 5 elements, next he says, these 5 elements are nothing but Maya. Maya Vilasa, the play of Maya or the expansion of Maya. Where does he get that from? He's of course using the Upanishadic cosmology. Taittiriya Upanishad says, Tasmad va etasmad atmanah akasha sambhuta akashad vayu vayur agni agnir apa adbhya prithivihi. Taittiriya Upanishad. From this Brahman, which is Atman, from that appeared Akasha, space, air, Vayu, Agni, fire, Apa or water, and Prithvi or earth, the 5 cosmic elements. How did it appear from Brahman? Because of Maya, Brahman alone appeared as all these things. So all these elements are nothing but Maya. Space, time and causation, Desha, Kala, Nimitta. Paradox. Maya is paradox. How one can appear as many. How pure existence can appear as existing things. As pure consciousness can appear as conscious experiences. How bliss itself can appear as pleasure and pain of this world. You might say, that sounds a bit dodgy. That move. It's not logical. But if you dwell on it a little bit, it's not that illogical. Especially in this day and age, and when we are seeing cutting edge of physics, of modern science. I remember reading this book on Gödel, the mathematician, logician, and Rebecca Goldstein, who wrote that book. In the introduction, she writes that the greatest discoveries of 20th century in science, 3 greatest discoveries, Einstein's relativity, the uncertainty, Heisenberg, and Gödel's incompleteness theorems. And then she says, look at these terms, relativity, uncertainty, incompleteness. Now, if you compare back to the 19th century, scientists in the 19th century were quite confident that in some years, 50 years or 100 years, we will complete science, we'll complete this project and everything will be explained, because it was making so much positive progress. So if you asked a scientist, what do you look forward to in physics? Are you looking forward to certainty or relativity? Are you looking forward to absoluteness Reality or relativity? You should be looking forward to the absolute theory of reality, not relativity. That's what happened, relativity. Are you looking forward to certainty or uncertainty? Certainty. We're looking for certainty, not uncertainty. Mathematics, there was actually a program. There was a great mathematician, Hilbert. He set out a program for the completeness of mathematics. And he had some problems which would have to be solved, and then mathematics would be complete. The whole project collapsed because of Gödel, who showed that any system which is complete will be inconsistent at some point. Any system that is consistent will be incomplete at some point. You cannot solve all the possible hypotheses or theorems. It cannot be proved within a system, although they may be true. So incompleteness, relativity, uncertainty, to me, this is Rebecca Goldstein. But then when I read it, immediately I thought, these are the terms for Maya. Yeah. So Maya Vilasa. Then, but what is Maya? According to Advaita Vedanta, Maya is nothing but the power of Brahman, Brahma Shakti. So Maya has no existence apart from Brahman. It's not an independent, separate reality apart from Brahman. It's not a countably second reality apart from Brahman. It's like the sun shining. Light and heat and all are products of the sun. They don't exist by themselves. So Maya Vilasa, the play of Maya, is nothing other than the play of consciousness itself. Chid Vilasa. Chid Vilasa, the play of consciousness. It's consciousness playing, vibrating, whatever you call it, projecting. Chid Vilasa. By the way, this here is basically the theory of Kashmiri Shaivism. In Kashmiri Shaivism, the entire universe, it's real. In contrast to Advaita Vedanta, the universe is an appearance in Advaita Vedanta. In Kashmiri Shaivism, the universe is real. It is the play of Shiva. It is play in what sense? Vibration, spanda. So, it's a play. It's a play of consciousness. Now, the Advaitin asks here, does consciousness play? Literally, if you mean it literally, play means change, movement, a kid running around, jumping, that's play. Can consciousness vibrate, change, move around, jump around? All of those are appearances to consciousness. If consciousness could change, then the question would be, would it be a change that is a known change or an unknown change? If it's a known change, then it's an object of consciousness. It's not consciousness itself. If it's an unknown change, why talk about it? If it's unknown and unknowable. So, instead of Chid Vilasa, the play of consciousness, the Advaitin would say Chid Vivarta, the appearance of consciousness. Consciousness appears in this way, to itself. Chid Vivarta. Vivarta is a term used in Advaita Vedanta. Is consciousness transformed into the universe, or does consciousness appear as the universe? Chid Vivarta. Advaita comes down on the side of appearance. Consciousness appears as the universe. In that case, what is this universe? If consciousness is appearing as the universe, there's a term, Chinmaya. Chinmaya means pervaded by consciousness. So, if something appears as something else, that something else must be pervaded by the first one. If the rope appears as the snake, then that illusory snake, every bit of it must be the rope. If your mind, this is a very good example, if your mind appears as the dream world, if your mind appears as the dream world in your dreams, then every bit of that dream, every person in that dream, every rock and tree and river and star in that dream must be pervaded by your dreaming mind. It is your dreaming mind which appears as all of that. So this universe is pervaded by consciousness, Chinmaya. Then one last question, pervaded, but how? Is it like this room was dark and we switched on the light and then it got pervaded by light, you see it? Is it like that? There was a dark universe and then you switched on consciousness, got pervaded by that? Or is it like this table is pervaded by wood, which is another way of saying this table is nothing but wood. The wave is pervaded by water, which is nothing but saying that the wave is nothing but water. So Pervaded how? Is it pervaded like light in a dark room or like wave in the water? And Advaita says it's pervaded like wave in the water, like the wood in the table, like the gold in the ornament. Nothing, the ornament is nothing but gold, literally. The table is nothing but wood. You know, when we touch it, touch wood, we don't say touch table, touch wood. The wave is nothing but water. The universe is nothing but consciousness. Sanskrit word, chinmatra, consciousness only. Chinmatra. Done. I did it in 18 minutes. You don't have to clap for that. So chinmatra, consciousness only. Now let me give you the 7 terms, the 7 stages. You see, you started with the world, this world, and ended up with consciousness only. Jagat, world, just as we experience it. Second stage, Pancha Bhuta Vilasa, the play of 5 elements. Or you can say matter, energy, time, space. Third stage, Maya Vilasa, it is the play of Maya. But Maya is nothing other than Brahman. It's the power of Brahman. So, Chid Vilasa, Brahma Vilasa, Chid Vilasa. And their whole Kashmiri Shaivism will come in there. In fact, it's a name for Kashmiri Shaiva monks, and there's one Chid Vilasananda. Chid Vilasa, play of consciousness. Then further, Chid Vivarta. Does consciousness play or appear? Look at your own experience. Things appear to consciousness. Consciousness is that which experiences things. So, Chid Vivarta, appearance of consciousness. But whatever appears in consciousness must be pervaded by consciousness. So, Chinmaya, pervaded by consciousness. But what kind of pervasion? Consciousness only. Chinmatra, consciousness only. Start with Jagat, world, end up with Chinmatra, consciousness only. 7 stages. I liked it. I mean, I'm breaking it down and explaining it. If you can break it down further, it can be like a master class in Indian philosophy. But when the Swami said it, he just said it in 1 sentence. He just went through it zip like that. So to understand it, you have to break it down. All right. Now we have it. Now, what we are going to do now is, before we go into the manana, the reasoning stage, I'm going to put the meditation first, and then we will go into the Q&A. So they're going to have a meditation which will enable us to appreciate a little bit. I'm not claiming that it will make you enlightened and realize you are the universe, or the universe is you. There's a distinction between you are the universe and the universe is you. The princes of Kashi and that prince. The princess of Kashi was nothing but the prince. But the prince was not that painting. The painting was just a representation of the prince in another dress, looking different. But the prince is not the painting. Prince is the independent real. Universe is you. You are not the universe. You are Brahman. You are consciousness. And your appearance is the universe. There is a distinction between the two. So this meditation will help us to appreciate a little bit what it means. We will start with first a relaxation, and then we will go into the meditation. And later I will invite you to see how it's different from yesterday's meditation, where we separated, our friend the flower. It's become so big now. So we saw the flower and the eyes which see the flower, then the mind which sees the eyes, then the consciousness which witnesses the mind. So we went from the flower to the eyes to the mind to consciousness. But now we shall see it the other way around, how everything appears and disappears in consciousness. All right. First, a relaxation. So sit up straight in your chair, not rigid. You can just be relaxed. And put your feet as you like, put your hands, if you like it, on your lap or on the chair, whatever is comfortable. During the meditation, try not to move, but again, don't be rigid. If you feel an ache or a cough or something, relax. Don't struggle against anything. Just be quite relaxed. Don't fall asleep. So, Now, gently close your eyes when you're ready. I shall name parts of the body. When I name the parts of the body, just visualize that part and feel that it is relaxed. That's all. Just feel that it's relaxed. Breathing normally, breathing in and out. Don't try to control the breath. Just let the in-breath come in when it comes. Let it out-breath go out when it goes. Breathing normally. Body relaxation. Left leg, the big toe of my left foot. Relax. First toe of my left foot. Relax. Second toe. Third toe. And the little toe. Relax. Bottom of my left foot. Relax. Left heel, relax. Left ankle, relax. Lower left leg from the ankle to the knees, relax. Left knee, relax. Left upper leg up to the hip, relax. Right foot, big toe, relax. First toe, second, third. The little toe, right foot, relax. Bottom of the right foot, relax. Right heel, relaxed. Right ankle, relaxed. Right lower leg, relaxed. Right knee, relax. Right upper leg up to the hip, relaxed. Whole right leg, relaxed. Whole left leg, relaxed. Breathing normally. Hips relaxed. Tummy relaxed. Chest relaxed. Left hand, thumb, relax. First finger, second finger, third finger, little finger, relaxed. Left palm, relaxed. Left wrist, relaxed. Left arm up to the elbow, relaxed. Left elbow, relaxed. Left upper arm, relaxed. Left armpit, relaxed. Right hand, thumb, relaxed. First finger, second finger, third finger, little finger. All 5 fingers of the right hand relaxed. Right palm relaxed. Right wrist relaxed. Right arm up to the elbow relaxed. Right elbow relaxed. Right upper arm to the shoulder relaxed. Right armpit relaxed. Right shoulder relaxed. Left shoulder relaxed. Whole right arm, the whole right arm relaxed. Whole left arm relaxed. Both shoulders relaxed. Front of the neck relaxed. Back of the neck relaxed. Forehead relaxed. Right eyebrow, left eyebrow relaxed. Right eyelid relaxed. Right eyeball relaxed. Left eyelid relaxed. Left eyeball relaxed. Right nostril, left nostril, whole nose relaxed. Right cheek relaxed. Left cheek relaxed. Upper lip relaxed. Lower lip relaxed. Upper jaw relaxed. Lower jaw relaxed. Chin relaxed. Tongue in the mouth relaxed. Right ear, left ear relaxed. Whole face relaxed. Breathing normally. Top of the head relaxed. Back of the head relaxed. Upper back relaxed. Lower back relaxed. Whole lower body up to the waist relaxed. Breathing normally. Whole upper body relaxed. Breathing normally. Whole body relaxed. You're awake and listening to my voice. Breathing normally, breathing out, in, breathing out. Whole body is relaxed. Breathing in, breathing out. Listen to the sounds in this room. Do not focus on any sound, just be aware of the sounds. My voice, air conditioning sound, sound of people around you. Listen. Aware of sounds in this room. Distant sounds outside the room. Background sounds from far away. Breathing normally. Notice how sounds arise, play around for a little while and disappear. Sounds arise, you are aware. Sounds play around, you are aware. Sounds disappear, you are aware. Each sound arises in your awareness, plays around in your awareness, and finally disappears back into your awareness. All through, awareness is there. You are there as awareness. Sounds are many, awareness is the same. Sounds come and go, arise and disappear. Awareness stays the same. Sounds are many, awareness is one. Sounds are different from each other, awareness is the same. Sounds are temporary, arise and disappear, awareness is permanent, always there. Just as these sounds come and go in me, the awareness, similarly, all the forms that are seen arise and play around and disappear in me, the awareness. Forms and colors I see are many, awareness is one. Forms and colors keep changing, awareness is the same. Forms come and go, awareness stays always, is always there. Similarly, all touch, all smell, all taste, it arises in awareness, disappears back into awareness. There are many, awareness is always one. They are temporary, awareness is always there. Similarly, all thoughts, memories, desires, intentions, likes and dislikes, all of them arise in awareness, play around in awareness, disappear back into awareness. There are many, awareness is one. They are different from each other, awareness is the same. They come and go, awareness is always there. Breathing normally, relaxed. I am awareness. Chit-Ananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. In me, the global space of awareness, the sensations of the 5 sense organs, and all the activities of the mind and intellect, they arise and play around and disappear. I am awareness. Chit-Ananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. After a little while, you'll open the eyes and then you will see all sorts of colors and shapes will appear before you in the same awareness which is now there, in which sounds are appearing and disappearing. All the sensations of the 5 sense organs will appear and disappear. All the thoughts and plans of the mind feelings will appear and disappear. But I am the same awareness. When I count to 3 ohms, I will chant 3 times. We'll chant together, after which you will gently open your eyes, looking down at your lap. Don't look up immediately. We'll chant Om 3 times together. Om. When you are comfortable, gently open your eyes, looking down at your lap. Don't look up immediately. The important thing is to continue the meditative mood after your eyes have opened. Notice, just because the eyes have opened, nothing has changed. The same awareness in which the sounds were coming and going. Same awareness now also. So, if any questions are appearing in awareness, practically there's no difference between the meditative experience which we just had and the eyes open experience we are having right now. It's something important to grasp. Then the question will not be there. In meditation it was fine. When I opened my eyes, it's gone. No, it's not gone. It's the same awareness now. Only sounds were coming and going at that time. Now sounds are coming and going. Eyes are open. Forms are coming and going. Thoughts are going through the mind. Same awareness. You are that. In you, all of these are appearing. The universe, 3 stages. Universe appears to you, the consciousness, stage 1. It appears in you, the consciousness, stage 2. And it is nothing other than you, the consciousness, stage 3. Each has to be understood. World, universe, my body, mind is appearing to me, the consciousness, stage 1. Not very difficult to understand after yesterday's analysis. Stage 2, it is appearing in consciousness. What do I mean by appearing in consciousness? When I say something appears to me, the consciousness, there is a certain trick in the language there. It means as if it is outside my consciousness and appearing to me. That's what it feels like. It's because of our strong body identification. Clearly, if I am the body, this world is outside the body. There's no doubt. It's inside the body and outside the body. But in consciousness, is this body in consciousness or is consciousness in the body? Consciousness is in the body. This is common sense. This is what we come to the class with. We begin to understand actually the body is experienced in consciousness. If you say the world is outside consciousness, show me the border between consciousness and world. You can't. So the world appears to you in consciousness. And remember the distinction between knowledge and consciousness which I drew yesterday. Not everything is in your knowledge. But the whole universe is in consciousness as known and unknown. Mostly unknown, a little bit known. And what is in consciousness? Now remember the sevenfold reduction. What is in consciousness must be pervaded by consciousness. All of it must be pervaded. It's like the wave in the water. The wave in the water is nothing but water. The universe in consciousness is nothing but consciousness. You alone are appearing to you like the princess of Kashi as something separate. It's not separate. It's you, the consciousness. By the magic of your own Maya, you are appearing like this. Questions? Come up here. Come up here. Yeah, that's it. No more than that. Stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 2 of you are there or 1? 2, 7, 8. All right, we'll go from here and there. Go around like this.
My name is my question is about the 6th verse. There is the words Nasandeha Chin Murti Vijvaro Bhava. So I'm wondering the Chin Murti, which part of this sevenfold reduction is?
Chin Murti is a form of consciousness. Murti means form. So generally Murti is a term applied by Hindus to the deities. So Shiva, Kali, or even avatars like Krishna, Rama, Krishna, we call them Murti. You are also called Murti. In Uttarakhand there is a tradition. When the sadhus are invited to a feast, the rich people give feast for the sadhus, for the monks. So when you're invited to a feast, one sadhu, one monk will go around to all the ashrams and inviting that. So there's a limit to how many monks each ashram can send. And so the sadhu will come around to your ashram and invite you. Kitne murti hain? How many murtis are there? So each of you is a deity, is a murti. But here it said, you are not a form of this sort. Your real murti, your form is consciousness itself. That is Chin Murti. Vijwaro bhava. I did not dwell on that. I did not translate that. Be free of fever. One translation was be free of the fever of the mind. The other translation by Byram was be free of the fever of the world. How are you going to be free of the fever of the world? First of all, you have to be aware that the world is a fever. They are burning up in fever, high temperature. They have a term, fever of unknown origin. So this is a fever of unknown origin. Why? Be free of this fever. How? When you're free of this fever, you realize the world is not a separate thing. Like the prince was burning up with the fever of his desire for the princess of Kashi. How did he become free of the fever? The princess of Kashi is nothing other than I. I alone am appearing in that way. In that sense, the princess of Kashi is always attained. This world is nothing other than you. All the beautiful and tempting things in this world, all the terrible and terrifying things in this world are you, the consciousness. This is how you become free of the fever. Those who want, it's not the time for it, but those who want, there is a whole chapter in the Panchadashi. I think it's the 9th chapter, probably. There's a verse in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad which says this: Atmanam ched vijaniyad ayam asmiti purushaha kimicchan kasya kamaya shariram anusanjvaret. When you know the self, the Atma, the self, to be this infinite consciousness, then desiring what and for whose sake, for the sake of what, will you continue to suffer along with the fever of this body? Repeat that. Atmanam, yourself. Chet, if. That's the if is the big if. Vijaniyat, you realize yourself to be what? Ayam asmiti purusha. This purusha, this infinite, limitless consciousness. You are this. In that case, after that, the body will still appear. Why will you still be identified with this body and keep on suffering along with the suffering of this body? Be free of this fever. So there he says, along with the fever of this body. So this is a reference to that Brihadaranyaka verse. Now, in the Panchadashi text, Vidyaranya Swami has written a long chapter on this one verse. Whole of Advaita is packed into it. I have given this fever of the world, how to be free of it. I've given 5 talks on that. It's there on the YouTube channel on this one verse. Yeah. So this is the fever, and you have to be free of this. Free of this by realizing you are the all, or rather there is no all, there is only consciousness, and you are that.
Yes, Swami. My name is Bhushan. I have 3 questions, but I'll make it short.
Okay, one or put them all into one.
Yeah. The first one is like you have dissected yourself into different layers and peeled out and made it yourself as a zero to experience the I am the consciousness to consciousness itself.
You don't make yourself zero, you make yourself limitless.
Yeah. So,
as consciousness, you are limitless, yes.
So when you are dissecting yourself and making not a zero, but zero is actually to infinity. Basically, when you work and expanding yourself.
Yeah, but don't let the microphone go to infinity. Here, hold it there.
My question is where the transition happens, where inward become feeding yourself to become zero and expanding yourself to infinity. That's my first question.
Now, what is the question? You got it right.
Where the transition happens.
The transition, yes. The transition happens when you have done that neti, not this, to the extent possible. Then you have to intuitively catch what remains. Avashishtam bhavet muni, Shankaracharya says, what remains? He says, oh, consciousness remains or pure existence remains. When Shankaracharya says, that's you. You are that sacred remainder. That transition, you have to catch intuitively. That's where the transition occurs. What else?
My second question is, you are given a lot of theory and a lot of knowledge. But how that can be translated into a roadmap to realize that transition?
I've not only given theory and knowledge, I've given you a roadmap. Notice, all of it was a roadmap basically. Not only, if you have listened carefully, this is the claim of Advaita. It's not just theory, it is theory, it's a philosophy, no doubt about it. Philosophy, theory, knowledge, not only a roadmap. What is Drigdrishya Viveka? It's a roadmap. What is the Pancha Kosha, 5 layers of the human personality? It's a roadmap, step by step by step. What is this sevenfold reduction which I just showed? It's a roadmap. Step by take each step and think about it. It's a roadmap. But also the more remarkable claim, at no point have we stepped outside experience. It is not theory. You've given us a lot of knowledge, a lot of talk. No. I'm just talking about telling you about your own experience right now. Advaita makes the stunning claim that all these big things we are talking about, none of it is beyond your experience. Yeah, I will experience it in the future. No, you're experiencing it now. You don't see it. This, what I have said, is a mirror. One Swami pointed out nicely. What do the Upanishads, what does Vedanta do? It's a mirror in which you can see your face, your real face as Brahman. Last
one is, what is the role of a guru in this whole transformation?
Right? What you saw just now. Since yesterday, what you're seeing right now. The guru is the facilitator. The guru is the one who points it out. The guru is the one who shows you to yourself. Guru is the classic management consultant. What's the management consultant? What's his role? I know some of you are management consultants. I come from the same breed, so I can make these jokes. Nobody feels offended. So, one who sees the time in your own watch and tells you the time, takes a look at the time in your watch and tells you the time. So, the guru does that. What does the guru do for you in Advaita Vedanta? There is a nice term. Praptasya prapti nivrittasya nivritti. He gives you what you already have. And he takes away what was never there. He said that sounds like in America there's a term, snake oil salesman. What is the snake oil salesman? It seems in the wild west in those days, where before proper doctors were available, there were these quacks who would go around and sell snake oil or something like that as a cure for everything, every possible disease you have. So one such guy was arrested and brought before the magistrate, before the sheriff arrested him and brought him before the magistrate, the judge. And this guy was charged with selling real cures for imaginary diseases and imaginary cures for real diseases. Is it what the Advaita Guru does? No, there's a real disease which he cures, which the Guru cures, which is sorrow, which is unhappiness, the disease of death and limitation. Not that he will cure you of the physical death of the body, but it will no longer matter to you. You have found the deathless reality, which is consciousness itself. The universe can die. You will not die. This is revealed to you. Not that the Guru made you into this. You already were that, regardless of the Guru. Just that we did not see it earlier. And by the great grace of the Guru, I see it now. Kabir Das, he says, Guru Govind dono khade. So, Krishna and Guru, both have appeared to me. Whose feet will I fall down at first? I have to salute both. I will salute both. But who is first? Whom will I salute both? And Kabir Das says, I will salute Guru first and then Govinda, because it is because of the Guru's grace that I have got Govinda, I have got Krishna. So that's the role of the Guru, who introduces us to ourselves. Self with a capital S. Good.
Thank you, Swami. My name is Alan. What is the point of all this? Like, why this great play? Like, why do we need a roadmap?
Right.
Guru or a savior?
Why are we here at all? If this is all a play of Brahman, but even then, why? So Vedanta has many answers to this question. The big question, why does this universe exist? What's the point of all this play? Especially if it's all Brahman and I am Brahman, then why is all this happening? Why am I in trouble? Why do I have to go through all this? Why couldn't Brahman just remain Brahman? Somerset Maugham, the English novelist, he went to Raman Maharshi actually. He wrote the book Razor's Edge. For one generation of Americans, it was the call to go to India to search for a guru and all that. So he knew quite a bit of Vedanta. In one of the essays he writes, Brahman could have left well enough alone. Instead of projecting this universe, Brahman could have stayed quiet. So why? Many answers are there. I can give you a few for an assortment, see what pleases you. One answer is that the whole universe exists for our spiritual evolution so that we can end up realizing ourselves as one with God and be free of samsara. But you might say, but that begs the question, Why should there be samsara in the first place? That's what I'm asking. No, it's not a bad answer because it's a very practical answer. Forget why the samsara is there. You are there, you're trapped. You are in trouble. Nobody denies that. We are unhappy, in trouble. There is a struggle going on, and here is the way out. That was basically the answer of the Buddha. Is there God? Why God has created the universe? Buddha was silent. When they asked him, why are you silent? Why didn't you give answers to these questions? The Buddha said, imagine there's a man who's hit by an arrow. And then you come to help him. And the man says, wait. What's the arrow made of? What's the name of the bowman? And which country does he come from? Tell me all these things before you treat me. What would you say to such a man? This is foolish. He will die before any treatment is given. Exactly. So these questions are of no profit. So I do not answer these questions. And there's question asked, then what do you teach? The Buddha said, I teach that there is sorrow, there is a cause of sorrow, there is a way out of sorrow, nirvana, and there is a method, eightfold path. Like any doctor, there is a disease, suffering, and there's a cause of that disease. Something is wrong. And there's a cure for that disease. That's the good news. And here is the method of treatment. So that's the practical answer to this question, that yes, there is samsara, and the whole thing is there to help us to get out of this samsara. That's the purpose of this whole creation. If that is not satisfactory, then Vedanta gives you another answer, which is the Leela answer. This is the divine play of God. This is divine play of God. God has not created with any particular purpose. God, it's a play. The play doesn't have a purpose. It's like a dance. If somebody is dancing, do you ask, where are you going? Nowhere, I'm dancing. He's not going anywhere. It's that. The kid is playing. What's the point of it? The play is the point of the play. That's also an answer. Usually in bhakti religions, that's the answer given. It's the divine play. Even that might not be satisfactory. Play is fine, but we are suffering. Sri Ramakrishna gave this answer to somebody who asked him, why is there so much suffering if God exists? And first answer which Ramakrishna gave was that it is beyond our understanding. The guy was not satisfied. He said, no, but why? Well, it's the play of God. What can we do? And then the questionnaire was aggravated. He said, it may be God's play, but it's death for us. That's not a good answer. It's death for us. It's so much terrible suffering. It's like a little boy in the next door neighbor who hits a ball and which comes and smashes your light, and you catch hold of that mischievous little kid and say, why did you do this? He says, my play. That will not satisfy you. He says, I'm going to call your mom and dad. So if that doesn't satisfy you, Sri Ramakrishna's next answer, when the person questioned, which is death for us. It's no use saying it's play for God, it's death for us. Sri Ramakrishna's next answer was, there's no comeback to that. He said, but who are you? You don't even know who you are. If you are one with God, then it is your play. This is what the Kashmiri Shaivites would say. This universe is the play of Shiva. It's your play. It's Shiva pretending to be all this. You are Shiva pretending to be in samsara as a jiva. And when you want to be free of it, you'll be free of it. The Advaitins, we non-dualists, we at least say that there is ignorance, and then ignorance has to be overcome by knowledge, and you have to attend all these endless talks and get knowledge and so on and so forth. The Kashmiri Shaiva says, no, nothing can stop you. You are Shiva. Nothing can stop you from being enlightened if you want to be enlightened. They're very radical that way. If Shiva wants to be free of it and realize that he is Shiva, what can stop you? But you might question, well, I want to be free now. I want to be enlightened, but it seems to be such a long and difficult process. I'm like forever a spiritual seeker, not a finder yet. The Kashmiri Shaivas have an answer to that one also. They say that right now Shiva wants to be a spiritual seeker. A practitioner, not an enlightened one. So many answers. If you ask what answer satisfies you, Swami, I would say two answers are there. One is the Maya theory. The Maya theory is that it is Brahman. There is no universe. It's Brahman appearing as this universe. That's one answer. The second answer which really I find satisfying, is that the question itself is wrong. Why did the one become the many? The answer is it didn't. It is appearing as the many. If you ask again, no, but why is it appearing as the many? There can be two answers to that. Either the one can appear as the many, or it need not appear at all. To appear, it has to be subject-object. And the one is doing both. When the universe is dissolved in pralaya, in cosmic dissolution, no appearance. Every day in our deep sleep, no appearance. But when you dream and you wake up, there is an appearance. When God creates this universe in every cycle of creation, there is an appearance. So Brahman does both things. It appears as the many, and sometimes it does not appear. What else can poor Brahman do? If Brahman did not appear as the universe, we could theoretically question it. What a useless Brahman you are. Do something, for God's sake. And when Brahman does something here, we complain. What a mess. Why did you do something? Why can't you just stay put? So logically only two things. Either Brahman can appear as this, or need. And if you say, why this and why not that? That's, I think in this day and age, that's a scientific question. Science will explain why the universe is in this particular way. But why it exists at all, that I think Vedanta does a better job of. Anyway, I went on at length. Let's have the other questions. Yes.
My body is known as Anjaneyulu. So I want to ask, in the Panchadashi Swami Vidyaranya, one sloka says there are 7 stages for a jiva. Ajnana, Avarna, Vikshepa, Paraksha Jnana, Aparaksha Jnana, Dukkha Nivritti, Ananda Prapti. So the Ananda Prapti is then later on the Brahman, or where exactly we can relate 7 stages of world to the 7 stages of...
Excellent. I'm going to give you another talk now. Thank you for that prompt. Yeah. So we are going to do a little bit of rescheduling here to push back the next session. All right. Why not keep that talk for the next session, right? All right, because it will take a little bit of time. But you have to remember the question. I'll start with that question the next session. You have touched upon a favorite subject of mine. We'll take the questions quickly and end up.
I'm Rashmi from Augusta. I just wanted a clarification on a point. I think in one of your talks, someone had brought up the topic of what happens when the Jivatma leaves the body, and you had mentioned that the mind and the Sukshma Sharira can actually kind of experience the death of the body, like going to the morgue and all of that. So I guess, does that mean that the mind is awake when the body dies?
No, but
sleep,
I never said that.
Okay.
I never said the body, you can experience yourself being taken to the morgue.
Or, I experience the experience of death,
Yeah.
the body falling away.
Yeah, to some extent, all of us can. But then at one point, the mind becomes, it's like going into deep sleep.
Okay.
May not. That's why some people have near-death experiences. So variety is possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Swamiji, my name is Sarvadevananda, and people coming to Vedanta, and we have so I have a quick question on the Chidabhas, reflected consciousness that we talked about yesterday. And I think one point you said that the consciousness we experience in our mind is reflected consciousness. So can you expound on that? Because the goal is to remove ignorance that we have and abide in real consciousness. So what is the reflected consciousness we experience in our mind?
I think you've just answered the question. It is the reflected consciousness, the awareness that we are feeling right now. Mind is such a substance which can reflect, channelize, or limit consciousness. These are the different terms used in Vedanta. Pratibimba, avacheda, and abhasa. The different terms used. So it's trying to explain what we are experiencing right now. So we are all experiencing it, that we are aware. Is this awareness pure consciousness, Atman, Brahman? No, it's a reflection of that. And different analogies are used, face in the mirror, or sunlight reflected from the moon. So the moon is a luminous body which illumines the earth at night. the luminosity is borrowed. The light of the moon is actually sunlight. Exactly like that. These are examples, analogies. And they help to make you catch sort of intuitively that go from the reflected consciousness to who I am really. Yes. And the mind exists, and the mind reflects consciousness, and day-to-day activities can go on. All of that remains. One thing one has to understand, one sadhu put it nicely, Jnana koi tod phod nahi karta hai. Knowledge, any knowledge, does not actually change the reality alone around you. It just reveals what is real. That's all. So once you realize your pure consciousness, it's not that the mind will stop reflecting. Mind will say, oh, it's my task is done. I will not reflect the consciousness anymore. Once you realize, oh, moonlight is sunlight, then it's not that the moon will go dark. Moonlight will continue to be moonlight. You just realize what's happening there. I can't resist this joke. There was this cartoon which I saw. You know, vampires are supposed to be scared of sunlight. They only come out at night from a coffin and scare people and all that. So this cartoon is there. A vampire has come out. It's a moonlit night. The vampire has come out and he's scaring a guy. This guy is a scientist, is an astrophysicist, and he's coming to scare that guy. And that scientist says, "You do know that moonlight is sunlight, right?" And the vampire runs for the coffin and hides again. Yes.
And I'm very new to this philosophy. I've read one book so far, Vivekananda's book entitled Practical Vedanta. And one of the things that really stood out for me was his discussion of animals. And he referred to animals as his sisters and his brothers. And in that context, he also said he could not claim to be a strict vegetarian. And I noticed when someone asks you a question about food, you once said it was not an important question. And I would like to understand why.
Why it's not? Everything has its place. But I've noticed vegetarians often make that the one single point of their campaign, you know, that everything, it depends on you being a vegetarian. So you're a spiritual person if you are a vegetarian. But that means Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Moses, Jesus, none of them are spiritual, and only because you eat avocados, you are spiritual? That's ridiculous. The Bhagavad Gita says a buddhi, tamasic buddhi, is which takes one thing to be everything. You know, to pick up one aspect and take it to be all all important. That's a dull intellect. So, yeah. So my point is that not that it's unimportant. It's one part of spiritual life. It's a good discipline. Vegetarianism, in Swami Vivekananda's words, is higher than non-vegetarianism. It's better. Nowadays we have veganism also. It's better. It's a good discipline. But if it traps you into a kind of spiritual pride, I am holier than thou because I eat grass, and you eat the eaters of grass. So I am more spiritual than you. That's a deadly trap. That's the end of all spirituality. You're doomed. Yeah. Thank you.
My name is Vijay Nicole. Thank you, Swami, for being here. Somebody texted to me this morning. How the retreat coming along? I said, it's divine retreat. Thank you. I have 5 questions.
Oh no. Okay. Just tell. I won't answer them now. Yeah. Tell me one.
I'm going to ask only 2 and don't take either of these. But existence is real.
Is?
Real. Awareness is real.
Yes.
We all have hopefully understood that, imbibed it. The moment we leave from this room, we all become different. We all start talking to each other, intuitively thinking what I have to say to whom or who I'm looking at. It becomes all different. from where we are now, this moment. Is there any panacea for that disease?
And the second
I call
question?
it a disease. I leave this room and I'm not the same.
Second question?
Second question. Thakur and Mom, they are present in me, they give me a whole lot of peace. I see their lila in everything in my life, every day. Right now, we've been here. And yet, I write poetry. When I write poetry, with all the peace I feel inside, poetry that comes out of me is sad poetry. Why is that conflict? If I'm at ease and I'm feeling happy, by happy I mean content, why does that expression come sadness?
Okay, I'll touch upon these in the next session, both of these questions. And the 7 stages. Who was there? Yes. Good. Now, when should we reconvene? We are at nearly 11:40 now.
15 minutes?
No, not now.
Do you want to take a 15-minute break? That was
15
the
minute,
original plan.
yeah,
So
15-minute break. So 11:40.
to 11:55.
11:55. All right, let's meet in at 11:55.
Everyone, please remain in your seat. Please remain in your seat while the Swami exits the hall.